the journey is rarely just a straight line up or straight line across. There are steps back and there are dips, and it's a lot more kind of like fluctuation. Now, yes, the Celtics, if we had to plot this chart, they're moving upward, right, from conference finals to now perhaps the best team in the league at this point, a quarter of the way through the year. But it's not without its ups and downs and setbacks and pitfalls and all that. Miami's going through one right now. And the good news is there's a lot of season left, and the East is so compressed, you're like 3 games away from being the 3 seed. Right now. They're like a strong week and a half away.
That's great perspective, but these losses.
Yes, these are bad losses. But remember last year when they had bad losses at home to the Sacramento Kings, and we had a clipboard that was thrown on the ground, and we had the star player and the head coach going nose to nose, and we had the enforcer come up and say, hold up, you don't do that to our coach or whatever. And then what happened? They went to the conference finals in Game 7.
That was a 4-game losing streak, though.
Sure.
That was a 55-win team.
Yes.
That all of us knew was good enough to be a 55-win team or 60-win team, and we're looking at it and saying 4-game winning streak or 4-game losing streak, that's weird. This team thinks championship. They fight on a 4-game losing streak because they're trying to get up there. This team has not looked like that all season.
I mean, they are 5 games behind the Cavaliers for the 3 seed in the East. And I understand what you're saying. It is compressed, especially after Boston and Milwaukee. But the larger question is, can this Heat team at full strength beat the Celtic team? I'm not certain that's even possible.
I don't think anyone right now, I don't think any team in the East, perhaps maybe Milwaukee, can say confidently right now, yeah, we can beat the Celtics.
Right.
But April, May, and June is a long way from now. And last year at this time, I don't think any of us would have said the Celtics could have beaten anybody.
No, you're right.
Right?
So they started 9-8. Totally they had a team meeting. Yeah. They fixed it because they've been overwhelming since then. But I want to talk to you about the structures of building.
Well, that's a great starting point because do you guys know why Jimmy Butler didn't play last night? Do you know what the official reason was?
No.
He was held out and for return to competitive conditioning. I've never heard that term in my life. I don't know. Does that mean he failed the body fat percent test? Does that return to competitive conditioning? I feel like Miami is a very deliberate team about the things they do, the rules they have, and the benchmarks that they set for individuals and for the team. Return to conditioning, competitive conditioning isn't like load management. That isn't, his sore knee.
I mean, this is the question I want to ask you, okay? Because Stugotz is getting at it when he asks, hey, why isn't Jimmy Butler playing? What's happening here? He goes to Boston, and everyone knows, he'll hit a jumper in your face in overtime, and the Celtics will fear that in the playoffs. We've already seen it. Jimmy might as well, at this point, spend the entire year conditioning for whatever it is he has to do at the end, because this stuff doesn't matter much. You want to be home court and all that stuff, but we are now learning through load management and everything else that regular season doesn't actually matter that much. Hell, in football, I got Garoppolo coming back in time for the playoffs because all that matters is down there when you're playing those games.
The Cowboys might sign Beckham just for the postseason. I mean, seriously,
he's not healthy enough to play.
It matters because if you're not there, then it's like, what are you saving for if you're not there? Right? It matters, right? It matters, first of all, whether you're play in or play off, right? Whether you're a game from having your season end or
forgive me. I mean, that's not where I want to get.
But I'm just saying when we talk about these things, right? I think it's dangerous rhetoric, even if that's not the point of the conversation, to just throw out that regular season doesn't matter. It absolutely matters.
Okay, but whether they're a 6 or a play-in or a 4, because it seems pretty obvious in the East that Milwaukee, Cleveland, and Boston are going to be the best teams in the East. Maybe somebody gets hurt, whatever else. I want to get to Stugotz's question, which I think is the more interesting one in and around this organization, as if this is what it looks like now for Jimmy Butler. Now, what's that going to look like at $50 million a year when he is 35 years old, taking care of his body? Over 3 years, when the last time the losing got bad, they got to bring in Haslam to fight with the coach. And the question I want to ask you is, at the top of sports, at the top of that sport, where Pat Riley exists, and you will be in the shape that he wants you in. As Jimmy Butler misses games and flies in by private jet to Boston to rescue them in overtime. How's that going to work the rest of the way? The missing of games, when Pat Riley not only thinks the regular season matters, he thinks every goddamn practice matters.
Right. But again, he didn't miss a game because he said, I need to take some time off. He didn't miss a game because his body is failing him, at least not in a way that is outwardly being disclosed by a team that is required to disclose these injuries to the league. That we're beyond the old phantom. I remember they used to sit guys, and Mark Pope would say, "Oh, I want to be out with psoriasis," right? Because you can make up anything in the DNP. We're in the age of gambling where now you have to disclose these injuries. You're not allowed to just be like, "Oh, he's fine," right? Their DNP was DNP return to competitive conditioning.
The Heat were a 7-point favorite last night. They lost by a ton of points. What does that mean? Tell us what it means instead of talking around it, please. You're saying you've never seen it before. What does it mean? What did the Miami Heat do with Jimmy Butler last night?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. To me, that statement is very specific. It's very specific.
Did anyone ask?
No.
Did a reporter ask because we're creating a whole third eye basketball Illuminati situation?
Get the guy from WSB TV in Atlanta to badger the hell out of Spo until he gets nothing, and then we'll say, "Oh, what you asked."
This was weird. This was weird.
The
yesterday.
whole thing is odd. I mean, it is. He goes to Boston. He has that kind of game. Then you don't see him for 2 games.
It's weird to have this live in Pat Riley's world. I'm going to play every couple of games for whatever the reason are.
Dwayne Wade did that. Remember when LeBron got upset that Wade wasn't playing every game the last year of the Big Three? That we've had this before here. It's not new, but I think, again, if they had said load management or injury, something to give us the feeling of this is regularly scheduled stuff. Return to competitive conditioning is such a bizarre statement.